Go.
I'm in Nassau and Suffolk County. I think a lot of us remember the stories from the day that bail reform was initiated and people were getting released, and we saw people immediately come out to reoffend, as well as what happened in the city where you have people that are, back out who had shoplifted some 40 times in a row before finally being remanded. So I think it's that, not so much that there is a rise in crime, but wanting to make sure that doesn't happen in Nassau County.
Thanks, Scott. You mentioned the ballot propositions. Were there any one or two? Because there were five, depending on where you live. There were 5 or 6 around.
There's some focus
that you think motivated Republicans to vote against them.
Try and move this up a little bit too.
I think specifically one, mainly because it seems nonsensical, at least to some of us, to not to count non-citizens for canvassing in the districting. 2, although I think that was the one with the clean air and water. I don't remember the number.
Yes, an environmental right in the state Bill of Rights. Yes, clean water, clean air, clean environment.
Oh shit! I forgot that there's
it might sound a bit funny to say this, certainly for those things, but that to me is the kind of vague language that politicians then use later on to justify taking things away from you. Like in California, they're recently banning gas lawnmowers within a certain period of time, and it's a nonsensical thing, but it was too vague. I would probably, because I'm all for those things, but look, generally a right to clean air. It's like, well, what does that mean? What does that give you then the right to do as a politician if I have a right to clean air and water?
Scott, we really appreciate your call. Call us again. And Rochelle from Newsday, did that ring true to you? That kind of set of perceptions by a young Republican in Nassau County?
Yes, definitely. People that I've spoken to have said that concerns about bail reform and public safety was really an issue for them. The minority leader in the Suffolk legislature, who is soon to become at minimum the majority leader because of the red wave, he was saying that when he was knocking on doors to campaign this year, people were asking him how they could get a gun permit for the first time. They were that concerned about their public safety, so that has definitely been an issue.
Last question. Why
that's good to hear.
This turnout for DA in Nassau and Suffolk generalized to the Nassau County Executive, Laura Curran, who I thought, without following it very closely, was fairly popular in Nassau County. She got defeated.
One political consultant I spoke to said she didn't lose because of her record. She was really just swept up in this red wave. She was down on election night only by about 12,000 votes, which could speak to the fact that some of the Republican voters who came out and voted for Ann Donnelly maybe voted for
Last question. Do you think the results in the red wave and the motivation of Republican voters on the island put any particular at risk for next year? Kathleen Rice in Nassau County, Tom Swazi, whose district includes parts of Nassau as well as Queens.
Especially national elections, they've gone blue in all the recent presidential races.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Brian Lara, WNYC, much more to come.
On the next All of It, Sufjan Stevens joins us to discuss his latest album, a collaboration with musician Angelo DiAugustine, titled A Beginner's Mind. The songwriter's two including Night of the Living Dead, Mad Max, and She's Gotta Have It. And director Pablo Larraín will be our guest. His critically acclaimed new film, Spencer, is surreal. I'm Allison Stewart. Join me for All of It, weekdays at noon on WNYC.
Support for WNYC comes Woody Jazz Festival. Tickets at njpac.org. 15.5. A management platform. platform that helps HR leaders improve employee engagement, performance, and retention. More information is available at 15five.com. Macbeth on Broadway, starring Daniel Craig and Ruth Negga, directed by Sam Gold. Limited engagement begins March 29th for 15 weeks. Tickets available at macbethbroadway.com. Leadership support for WNYC comes from the Jerome L. Green Foundation, a proud supporter of New York City's major cultural institutions, providing scholarships in the arts, education, and medicine.
As a 2010-year, I have
All right, how we looking?
Right there on WNYC. And with booster shots for oldsters, with a new federal mandate for vaccines or testing for large companies, as we still deal with the fallout of current vaccine mandates, both in the 9,000 New York City workers on unpaid leave, and maybe in some of the election results this week, let's spend some time looking.
Should I keep driving around, or do we want to switch to stage?
Do and put them in the context of these developments. I'm joined by science writer Catherine Wu, a staff writer at The Atlantic, where she's been covering the pandemic, as she puts it, acting as a, quote, jargon liaison between scientists and the rest of us. Maybe you saw her recent piece all about this, titled 9 Pandemic Words That Almost No One Gets Right. Welcome back to WNYC, Catherine Wu. Hi.
Thank you for having me back. Always a pleasure.
And let's jump right in with one of these 9, fully vaccinated. What does that mean now that some people are eligible for booster shots?
Oh gosh, this is a tough one to start with, but I love it. And honestly, I think it depends a little bit.
Should I try driving further out?
CDC, which most people still are. They have not changed their definition. This is still what it was back in the spring. 2 weeks after the final.
Should we end this shoot?
What's called your primary series. And Pfizer, that's still those 2 shots for J&J. It's the one and done.
About
Okay, keep going, says Mark, so I am going. To that, within a mile of that cell tower. Transmission. I had one in San Francisco too, which was even more fun. As you get closer to the ocean, the cell signal starts to really suck. What I'll do is I'll start heading back and see if it improves.
Is he doing the test remotely?
Yeah, he's
remotely. No worries.
That's good that it's got better. I'm gonna go back out, different, see how things look. Focusing. You know, you got an app where you can tell me that I need to focus more. Tell me to focus, I'll focus.
Yeah, did you see it? When did you see it? Oh, yeah, did you see it? When did you see it? Oh, yeah, did you see it? with these with the delay in
difficult question
Roger
to
that.
answer. We know that there is an enormous range of immune outcomes that can happen after someone is infected by this virus. There are exceptions to this trend, but generally you're kind of left with stronger and more durable protection the sicker you are. After they've been infected, some may not be at all. And I think that has moved hugely in the vaccine's favor. Pretty much every vaccine dose that a brand is going to be the same. People are getting the same regimen around the same time. And even if people are different, this is one constant thing. And we're seeing that across the board in our healthy and uncompromised immune systems. People have really strong, durable responses to these vaccines. And, I think one thing that I've been thinking about lately is it's term natural immunity, because what happens after infection? That's a huge downside that a vaccine is just not going to be saddled with. And it really does seem like people who are vaccinated, even after getting infected, they lower their risk of reinfection by many fold. And several studies that have come out of the CDC in recent weeks showing that people are less likely to get infected with the virus after they've been vaccinated.
I think still looking good.
Infected. And I think part of that is because of the enormous range of outcomes that happens after you're infected.
And that's another term that you tackle in the piece, right?
Absolutely.
Immunity, getting a vaccine dose after having been infected.
All right.
Hybrid immunity.
So I'm going to go,
Seem to be much stronger.
there's a bridge nearby where I have a feeling the connectivity is going to really start to blow. So I'm going to go off that way and we'll see how it looks.
The CDC it's called reduced risk of reinfection with SARS-CoV-2 after COVID-19 vaccination. These people were infected, they got vaccinated, and they lowered their risk of reinfection by 2.34 times. Now, this is just one study, but that's pretty compelling to me.
And the CDC also just weighed in on what the data shows about post-infection immunity, the so-called natural post-infection immunity, and there's some level of protection for 6 months following recovery, they say. So in your opinion, should vaccine requirements...
Are we streaming over Facebook, YouTube? Where are we streaming?
Delay the requirement for a period of time after a documented case for those individuals?
Yeah, this is interesting, and I know there are other countries that have been counting infections as, interchangeable.
All right, cool.
One or two doses of vaccine.
So I can watch it
I really
afterwards,
do think
right?
the safer
And
course
save
of
to a
action
file.
is to get
Watch my
vaccinated
Epic
as soon
Drive.
as possible. Not wait. Get that protection as soon as you can. I mean, if you're still feeling sick, certainly wait. But there is no reason to not build on that protection and ensure that you are really safe against this virus. It's an enormous gamble to think that you are protected for 6 months or however months.
I'm live. Hey, what you doing? Ooh.
risks might be in your life. Do you have unvaccinated family members, like really young kids? Do you have any health conditions that might put you at higher risk? Do you have a job or frequent exposure to the virus that might increase your risk? It does seem like this is super binary. So that back to sort of like